Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
After Atlanta won the draft lottery, that I was taking Ricochet number 1. When he was at plus 425, I said Ricochet's going number 1. Well, hot damn, who's the big minus money favorite to go number 1 in the draft? Zachary Ricochet. Hopefully you had jumped on this earlier enough because the train has left the station.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score in the stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. George Kurtz in the house with us. Level 3 has begun. Cam Stewart. Ian Cameron is going to join us. We'll get into some more CFL football, some NFL futures. Maybe Battle's got some college football on his mind. Countdown to kickoff is on 29 days until the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. Somewhere where I've never actually been before. And I would like to go. I'd like to see the I've always wanted to go to the Hall of Fame game. And I've never been to the Football Hall of Fame either, which I've heard is pretty spectacular. So, you know what? Maybe I will go out of my way one of these years to put it on the list. I always wanted to go to the Pro Bowl before in Hawaii as well. That would have always been a good time. Or even like just a Hawaii game. Like the D-Gen special, to be there live, like for once, it would be like a special, it'd be a super cool experience. So, Kurtz, your Yankees lose to the Cincinnati Reds again tonight. I took the Reds at plus 155. Just thought that price was too high when you consider the Yankees' form as of late. What's that now? 9 of the last 13, I believe. So Lane, you offered a bet against the Yankees. I just thought, you know what? The Reds are playing good baseball. Getting plus 155, worth a look. And I know you watch pretty much every pitch of this stuff. You watch the Reds play, George, and you wonder how is this team not like in first place? And like they're good, right? Like they're good defensively. They're making plays. Marte made that beautiful catch tonight. De La Cruz is a freaking stud. Their pitching is good. Like the Reds, when they're playing good baseball, are a dangerous team, and we've seen that against the Yankees the last 2 nights.
I picked the Reds to win the National League Central before the season started. I agree with you. I think their pitching staff is solid, not spectacular, but solid with some upside here. And they have a whole bunch of athletic fielders, batters here. I think they're still going to come around here. They're not that far out of it. I don't think they're dead yet. I just wonder if they'll sell off before the trade deadline in a couple of weeks. But I like the Reds. They lead the Major League in stolen bases, so we know they can run. All right.
Oh, they're fast as hell.
There they are.
Yeah.
Bad ownership.
The Yankees.
Isn't their owner the one that basically told the fans to suck it if you don't like it?
Pretty much, yeah. You know, you're going to buy tickets anyway, so they did that sort of thing. But the problem with the Yankees was tonight was Rodon was pitching tonight, all right? He'd been awful. He was okay tonight, but he had been awful. And the Yankees don't hit left-handed starters. They just don't, for whatever reason, because it sort of neutralizes Soto a little bit here. But they put Ben Rice on the bench here, which is amazing. He's one of their better hitters. He's been up here 2 weeks. But he's one of their better hitters. He's on the bench. Wells is on the bench, too. And you get all these guys that are – you get a spring training lineup. So the Yankees are neutralized when a left-hander throws here. So I was on the Reds tonight as well. Tomorrow, Stroman has been he hasn't been terrible. All right, how about that? They've won his start, so maybe go that former Yankee Frankie Montas. And there's rumors, by the way, that he may head back to the Yankees at the trade deadline if the Reds do sell off. But Frankie Montas, who the Yankees do have a very good history of hitting, by the way. So it's Frankie Montas for Stroman tomorrow. I'm feeling pretty good on the over here.
Total is 9. Yankees are minus 170 favorites. Is there any pattern, George? Have you noticed it all with the Yankees playing these early day games after a night game at home?
No, the Yankees, there's no necessarily, the Yankees don't play better during the day than they do at night or anything like that. The Yankees right now aren't hitting.
Or do they rest players?
They're not hitting.
Do they rest players coming off of, like, you know what I mean? Like you've complained about Boone's resting patterns. Teams usually use these games. Actually, this is a 4th of July game, though. I forgot it's 4th of July. It's not any sort of getaway.
The only person who won't start tomorrow is Torino. Torino won't start. Thank God.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. Level 3 has begun to pick the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between, including Cam Stewart, George Kurtz in the house with us just for a couple of more moments. So the All-Star rosters were announced, Major League Baseball. The jerseys were announced, although they've been leaked a little while ago, but they're even worse than we could have imagined. But as far as the rosters are concerned, George, you've had a couple hours to digest the American and National League starters. What are your thoughts on the All-Stars? Any giant omissions, in your opinion? Lindor's name is coming up a lot. People are wondering about Trey Turner. His name is coming up. We should know, congratulations to Fernando Tatis. Shout out to everybody joining us in SoCal right now on the 50,000-watt juggernaut, the mightier 1090 ESPN radio in the house. Fernando Tatis will become the first player, that is if he doesn't crash a vehicle before the All-Star game. He'll become the first player in Major League Baseball history to start the All-Star game in the outfield and at shortstop. What did you think about the rosters, George, and what's the giant omission? Who got screwed?
It's funny. I would have thought that Robin Yount maybe was somebody who started on the outfield and at shortstop. So that got me a little bit.
Is it wrong that poor Robin Yount, because all I think of him is just getting punched in the head by Nolan Ryan. Sorry. That's what happens, right?
That was Ventura. That was Robin Ventura.
Oh, was it Ventura? Sorry.
That was Robin Ventura.
Robin Ventura.
Smoked. Yeah, that was Ventura.
Good. So Robin Yount, it was Robin Ventura.
Man.
Yeah.
You're talking about making a wrong life
Well, it was the knuckles, right? It was like the knuckle in the headlock.
Yeah,
get him in the headlock.
Old man just killing his
I think there were illegal shots over the head.
I liked it. Yeah.
Not only did you get drilled with the baseball, then you got beat up by Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
What a night for Robin Ventura.
Oh, and for the record, too, before we get Kurtz out of here, too, but I wanted your omission from the All-Star game, but we've got the back of the toilets here with the magazine rack here. Do we have them here, guys? It's pretty good. All right, they're coming. Which actually, it makes it almost, it'd be pretty good if you're sitting behind them, actually. Just sort of get the magazine.
Yeah, just take the magazines. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
They should have a racing forum there, Kim. The daily racing forums.
Oh, yeah. Santa Anita. Yeah, there we go. Yes.
I got to tell you,
right. I'd love
put these toilets at a racetrack, the old guys would use them. You put them in the front row of like some racetrack, guys would be like, oh, this is great. Because I got to tell you, the most disgusting place on earth is the bathroom at the Meadowlands.
Yes.
No, like I'd rather almost take a leak or go in a bathroom in a morgue than that place. Like with dead bodies. Here's the magazine rack here at the stadium.
You're right. You got for the horse form, man. That's nice and thick. Yep, I'm in. Let's go. Crossword puzzles. Yeah, these guys get it. Yeah, it's good.
I wonder how much it costs to sit on that for an entire game. How much does it cost for my butt to fall asleep?
Well, we're going to find out because as soon as people actually do it, we're going to see it online after. But I still don't understand the theme of it. Like, hey, let's have a toilet night. Like, I don't get the theme of what they're doing.
Let's have a toilet night.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Is the team bad?
No, that's what I was going to say. Like, if we're like terrible, like, Why sit on a toilet and play on your phone when you can sit on a toilet and watch an entire baseball game, they say? The hell does that mean? Like, I don't get it. All right. Oh, okay. You know what? All right. No, I'm getting to it.
Yeah.
It's sponsored by Roto-Rooter.
Oh, I see. Good company. Yeah.
A little plumbing.
I've done them a few times.
Roto-Rooter, great.
And in fact, they're going to have people throwing plungers into toilets, actually, as a contest. And you're going to win some free plumbing.
Oh, my God.
Wow,
This
that's
is the worst
great.
You win. 2 of the 8 fans will be selected to participate in the Roto-Rooter's Plunger Challenge, where the goal is to accurately throw the plunger into the designated target.
It's actually not that hard. Just go wood first. Throw it like a javelin and stick
Okay,
in,
you know what? Yeah, it's
deep.
called the Roto-Rooter Toilet Row.
Okay. Yeah. I think we
Tickets start at $16, Kurtz. Bring the family.
That's a good
It's
deal.
an affordable experience.
I like, listen, if you go to independent league baseball, it's actually that's kind of cool. Going to see the Long Island Ducks, with a lot of former Major League Baseball
I'd like to
players.
see
So I
those
kind of like
Savannah
those
Banana
teams.
guys. I want to see the Savannah
I would
Banana
that'd be
team.
fun. That would be fun, right?
Or that acid LSD baseball in the glow-in-the-dark crew. That would be all right,
that
too.
awesome. Yeah,
That'd be
that
fun,
looks
too.
fun.
All right, George,
Be
biggest
different.
omission. We got lost on the Robin Ventura. Biggest omission from the All-Star teams.
I thought you already named it, and I don't think there's always guys who lift out. Lindor, I thought he probably should have been on the team. The surgeon for the Mets, he's a big reason why. He would have been went there. Not Trey Turner.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
After Atlanta won the draft lottery, I was taking Ricochet number 1. When he was at plus 425, I said Ricochet's going number 1. Well, hot damn, who's the big minus money favorite to go number 1 in the draft? Zachary Ricochet. Hopefully you had jumped on this earlier enough because the trains left the station.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score in the stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is Sports Rage. I am Morency, the pitch, the players, the hustlers, the people, the bust them, and everybody else in between. Ian Cameron will step up and in a couple of moments and join us. Major League Baseball currently going on right now. We've got 2 games on the board. The Baltimore Orioles lead Seattle 4-1. We're in the top of the 8th inning right now. The total was 7 in this game. It's currently 5.5 right now. And the Arizona Diamondbacks have been a massive thorn in the Dodgers, like for the last couple of years. We've seen it. Last night, the Dodgers did come back but they needed to come back, and it was a wild game. We got another similar situation going on here tonight. The Arizona Diamondbacks are currently leading the Dodgers 6-4 right now in the top of the sixth inning. The Dodgers are plus 220, which I think is value. So Dodgers are plus 220. D-backs are minus 290, minus 1.5, minus 145. Dodgers plus 1.5, plus 115. Total is currently 13.5 in this game. We got a full slate of 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, early 4th of July to everybody tuning in right now. Countdown to kickoff is on 29 days away from the start of the NFL preseason. We'll get you some CFL picks for the hardcore degenerates tuning in. But as we stated earlier, the National League and American League starting rosters have been announced. And for the, people are always going to complain, and there's so many good players in every league that there's always going to be a couple of players that are left out. But I find it interesting. Like, you look at a team like the LA Dodgers, and they only have one starter. Now, I know Mookie Betts got hurt, but oftentimes players will still get the votes. And the Mets are a good example. Like, Met fans are getting upset that Lindor isn't. Well, you're the ones that didn't vote for him. Like, there's not like, there was some, like, system and conspiracy that kept him off the team. It's all by these votes. And I can't help but think just how stupid it is, though. And no one even knows. Listen, I love the Dodgers. If I would make it easy and they want me to, I'll click for them. But I don't know. You get like 60 clicks a day or something like that, right? And I will say in the old days when we were kids, it used to be like you'd punch out. Like, you'd actually have the all-star ballot at the game. And you'd fill them out. You'd punch out the Chad type of deal. I don't know if they really counted them. We'll see how. But
that's a really good point. Do you think there's
if you think about it, Cam, think about the election when they had the Chads. It took them forever to count like 2,000 of them. So
exactly.
Was Major League Baseball like? I think we were just dumb kids and thinking, oh yeah, they're listening to us. It's like as if they're getting all like stacked boxes of cardboard. All these drunk people filling things out.
And what do you do?
But the thing is.
Right?
The thing is,
you have 3 guys or 4 guys. You're like, I like that guy. Because outfielders was 3, other position was 1. Yeah. I'm like, what do you do? Who do you pick? I pick 4 guys. Tell me who.
But I used to take it seriously as a kid. I wouldn't just pick like the home team or whatnot.
I agree.
I would actually pick the best players, and I think people took it seriously enough. But I don't know. I'd like to find out like how'd they actually compile that. But even now. Whatever. We don't really know how many votes really ever come in, and they can say whatever the hell they want. It's like American Idol. They can say whatever the hell they want to say. But even the fans, they generally get it right. Let's bring Babano in. If you remember Babano, who was the guy? There was a hockey player, and that was like the only time really actually where the fans like played a fast one on everybody. Was it Scott? I think it was the guy Scott.
Montreal, yeah.
I think he was on Carolina at the time, or he was on whatever team. Maybe played for Montreal after. But I remember he got voted in. He was a scrub. He got voted into the All-Star game as an online prank. A bunch of people online said, "Hey, let's they just handpicked this guy and they said, let's get him into the All-Star game," and they did. You don't really see that very often. Fans will generally take it serious, but. As I said off the top, shout out to Tatis. Fernando Tatis Jr. becomes the first ever player going to play in the All-Star game, start the All-Star game, once at shortstop and in the outfield as well. Very, very impressive accomplishment. San Diego have 2. Profar is an All-Star. The Dodgers only have 1. The American League has absolutely dominated the All-Star game over the years. But let's bring in Ian Cameron, a.k.a. Babano right now. Babano, good to see you. How you doing tonight?
I think you could have made an argument before the last 2 weeks, maybe putting Vlad Jr. into the All-Star game was a prank, but that's another story. But I think the last couple of weeks kind of got him in.
Is that your opening line? What, you plan that all night?
You're too much, Babano.
I'm actually a little shocked at it.
Hey, he's been smoking hot for more than 2 weeks, Babano. It's actually been it's been about 5 weeks. Yeah. Now Springer's suddenly hot, but
weeks, good month.
It doesn't matter, but.
No, now it doesn't matter because they lose 9-2 to Houston. By the way, City Connect Jersey update 2-5. So for all you guys, at a smooth 40% winning percentage. Good stuff.
I was thinking about it, and I'm shout out to the dude that's keeping track for us.
RJ,
The problem is with this, it's not really a City Connect thing. It's just they're not very good. So I don't know if there's like a pattern where it's
City
like, oh, they're
disconnect.
losing. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like if they're losing because of the jersey they're wearing, or just they lose. They're losing in all jerseys they wear. So it's not like it's like, oh, they lose in this jersey. Well, they lose in the white jersey too. They lose in the baby blue jersey too. They are the powder blue, whatever.
They're a bad baseball team. No color jersey is going to save them. You know,
they're a frustrating team. It's not so much bad. They're frustrating. Like they're. It's like, if you want to say what they are, they're like a person that's a gambler and you're just having a bad year. It's like you just can't, like, yeah, you know what? I won 3 bets in a row. I think I'm going to get hot. And it's like, no, I still suck.
No,
Next day you lose again. Yeah, and it happens to people, like, but they can't get out of the funk, Babano. Like sometimes it's like, all right, yeah, they had a rough month, but they're on track now. No, they're not.
No.
Like, it's the same thing over and over. And in fact, they're kind of getting worse now and getting worn out a little bit.
Yes. And the worst is, and you know this too, Gabe, Babano, they'll be in a game, 2-1, tie it up, and the next inning, the other team puts up 6 runs. Like a crocodile. You know what I mean? Gabe's like yeah, we just fought back. Like, they do it all the time. Like, they were battling Houston. Now the game's 9-2. It's like, thanks, guys. Their middle relief
They're kind of like the U.S. soccer team, too. It's like we're kind of running out of excuses. Like, we can say, well, Houston's hot, but it's before it's Cleveland, hot. Before it's this team and that team. And, like, Houston are red hot, actually. Like, the Astros are the Astros are a smoking hot team.
The first commercial break after the U.S. got bounced, they ran the Pulisic ad. We're going to prove the U.S. voters wrong ad. Great timing.
Babano, bitter Babano.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
After Atlanta won the draft lottery, that I was taking Ricochet number 1. When he was at plus 425, I said Ricochet's going number 1. Well, hot damn. Who's the big minus money favorite to go number 1 in the draft? Zachary Ricochet. Hopefully you had jumped on this earlier enough because the train has left the station.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score in the stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I am Morency, Ian Cameron, Cam Stewart kicking it with us. 8-4 for the D-backs right now over the Dodgers. 4-1 for Baltimore over Seattle. So we were talking a little bit about the All-Star rosters, and the jerseys are freaking terrible. And you know, we said this earlier. Baseball's different now because we all see every team all the time. Everybody bets on everything, but it's different. I'm watching a Seattle-Baltimore game. Like you can watch whatever game you want, essentially, right now, today's day and age. So it's a little bit different. Like the All-Star game, when I was a kid, it was pretty special. There was no interleague play, and games weren't, cable TV, whatever. There wasn't even ESPN. Like games weren't on. So you actually never saw these players live. You see them on This Week in Baseball if you were lucky on NBC on Saturday. And it was always cool when like your favorite team was represented at the All-Star game with the uniform. But now they put them in these beer league softball clown-ass uniforms that nobody wants to buy. I don't know why they do it. It's not like you're selling any of these things. Just put a nice patch. Just go, all right, All-Star patch. Put a nice All-Star patch on the jersey, on the hat, and you're off and running. I don't understand why they do it, but it is what it is. But at least the Major League Baseball All-Star game is the one game that doesn't suck. And I remember when they went with the World Series home field advantage, and at the time I thought it was the stupidest idea ever. Now I'm like, you know what? Maybe they should mix, put some sort of like, put something into the All-Star game to give it that extra little punch. But we'll get back. We'll have time to get into the Major League Baseball All-Star game. Let's get into some football right now. But Bano, before we get to some CFL picks, Paul Bovey was with us earlier. We started to kick the tires on some NFL futures. I've got 4 circled, more than that, but I got 4 really ones that I was looking at that I started to talk about tonight. College football around the corner right now as well. Where are you at with your football future betting right now?
I mean, it's just around the corner. Of course, NFL and college. There's a couple that I'm already liking here as far as futures go. In the AFC South, we know the Houston Texans are going to be the team to beat, favored to win the AFC South around even money. Jacksonville, will they have a bounce back year after, narrowly missing the playoffs, that dreadful final game that they had? But I'm going to go down the board a little bit. I think Houston's probably going to be the team to beat in that division. Wouldn't shock me if they win it, but I'm very high on a bounce back for the Indianapolis Colts this year. I mean, a team that really not many people are talking about. Really like what I saw from Shane Steichen. Don't forget Anthony Richardson's going to come back to health this year for this football team. That's going to be a boost. I still think in the trenches, they're a pretty solid football team. It's going to be interesting to see how that receiving core, I know there are some questions there, but you look, the schedule, I think, for them is not the worst in the world. I think Indianapolis, people sleeping on them. And then the other team in the AFC that stands out, I'm kind of drinking the Jim Harbaugh Kool-Aid. Kind of bothers me. A lot of people that I've spoken to are also very high on the Chargers bounce back and rebound in year one under Jim Harbaugh. But you talk about a team that's got a last place schedule. They've got, I think a very solid, manageable start to the year. We saw when he joined San Francisco over a decade ago, it wasn't one of these deals where Harbaugh needed time to get that team turned around. No, they were very good right away. And I think when you see what he's got to work with here with this Chargers team, I think on defense he'll improve them. I think they're going to run the football a lot more, which is what Harbaugh likes to do. Take some pressure off Justin Herbert, take some pressure off that offensive line a little bit. And I think that schedule is more than manageable for the LA Chargers to have a much improved season. So I like both of them over their win total. And I think both of them are worth a flyer here in their division.
I do agree as far as the Chargers are concerned. I brought them up earlier, quite frankly, because I think we know they're better than the Denver Broncos. The Broncos could, be a 4-win team, 5-win team this year. I don't think the Denver Broncos are going to be a very good team. And what? Is that a pot shot at Sean Payton by you, Babano? Better coach
Chargers are going to be better coached with Harbaugh than Staley is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah, but the division, they're going to get to play against the Broncos, who are terrible. The Raiders, I think the Raiders are okay, but I think the Chargers are better. I think one team has Justin Herbert, the other team doesn't. Now you bring just the discipline in of Harbaugh. As you stated, listen, Staley, with all due respect, he had lost respect of the players. He had lost respect of the room. And last year, that's not a true indication of what their record really is. Harbaugh's a couple of years away, I think, from getting a couple of drafts of his guys in there and to really go on a deeper run. But it's a 10-win football team that'll compete for a playoff spot.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
After Atlanta won the draft lottery, that I was taking Ricochet number 1. When he was at plus 425, I said Ricochet's going number 1. Well, hot damn, who's the big minus money favorite to go number 1 in the draft? Zachary Ricochet. Hopefully you had jumped on this earlier enough because the trains left the station.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score in the stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben, I don't know, I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
The Wicked Wednesday continues. This is SportsRage. We're getting some CFL and Euro, Copa, and more. All the bets that are coming up. We're going to be off for the next couple of days. We hope you enjoy the 4th of July. So we'll lay out a bunch of best bets. John Deere, some golf picks as well. Ian Cameron just talked about liking the Indianapolis Colts this year. I'm a big Steichen fan. I think both those Eagles coaches, you saw how good they really are. Arizona's another team that's definitely going in the right direction. Gannon did a great job with that team last year. Steichen did a great job with the Indianapolis Colts under difficult circumstances. And we saw the Philadelphia Eagles take a step back without him, right? Well, it was, Brian Johnson, my boy Brian Johnson, former Utah Ute, took over as the offensive coordinator because he's from Houston. And it's crazy. I feel old, but I saw Brian Johnson in high school play in Houston, and Jalen Hurts is from Houston, and there was that connection. They've known each other forever. So Johnson was the coordinator. That didn't really work out. I think Jalen Hurts changed too since he got paid. And look at the defensive stuff last year. Sirianni was like firing people and changing stuff mid-season. Players like openly said this is a circus right now with our coaches. But they like Sirianni. Right? It seemed like he lost control last year, but everyone says, you know what, he did, but we like him. He just sort of lost control of things a little bit, but we're dialed in again. But with all that being stated, Urbana, with the Colts, Anthony Richardson, I'm a fan of his. I like his athletic ability. He brings a lot to the table, obviously, but he got hurt last year pretty early in the season. He doesn't have a lot of experience. He's still very raw. I almost feel like you're going to have to go through some growing pains with him still. And if he can stay healthy, Joe Flacco is the backup, just for the record. If he goes down, Joe Flacco is on the Colts now. Speaking of lasting forever, this guy. So, I'm not going to say I hate your pick. If he stays healthy and everything falls into place, I say yes. But I'll tell you what, guys, the AFC South used to suck. And it used to be like, oh, God, it's the Thursday night game of the week with the Jags and the Titans or whoever. It's actually a pretty fun division right now. Everybody's so high on the Texans, like after the Chiefs, they're like the trendy pick. You've got Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. You've got this exciting young Colt football team. And the pick that I like, guys, that I didn't even give in the original 4 were the Tennessee Titans. And I'm kind of in a minority here because a lot of people think the Titans are going to be really bad this year. Their win total is 6.5 plus 110 to the over right now. They have a new coach. I like Vrabel, but it had gotten stale there. There's a whole new – there's like a turnover of the roster. There's a new enthusiasm. They're a lot younger. And quite frankly, they spent a lot of money in the offseason. Like, they've actually tried. It's not like this is some sort of joke. They bring in Pollard. I thought they overpaid for him, but they bring in Pollard. You bring in Calvin Ridley. You bring in Boyd. You want to talk about skill position players, guys, right? Seriously, Babano and Cam. You know, I mean, you got Boyd, you got Ridley, you got DeAndre Hopkins, who isn't this guy, same guy, but he's still good. And you bring in Pollard. The question is, can Will Levis get it done and play winning football for them? He was 3-6. He's played 9 games. He's 3-6 as a starter. But I think he can at least get to 7 wins. And I think they can be a competitive football team this year. Win total 6.5 plus 110.
That's low. Very low, Gabe. And another thing is, let's remember one thing. Remember the Titans were getting like 14 against Miami in that game, and they just kept on grinding and grinding. Like, let's give this team a little bit of credit. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things that people they're always underestimating the Tennessee Titans. And I do like their offensive weapons. The defensive secondary needs a little bit of work, but 6.5 is low. And I'm also like, everyone just assumes, Trevor Lawrence got the bag, but he's also banged up and hurt, and he didn't look like the same quarterback. I think there's a lot of, you talked about Richardson, there's a lot of question marks there. So when you're looking at teams to bet with a total at 6.5, you start low and go, you know what? Yeah, the Titans can win 7 games. I'm with you on this one. Maybe we're not in the minority. I think their offense is going to be very, very good. It's about the defensive side of the ball, and I think Levis will get better. He's a real grinder.
Yeah, but Tennessee did improve their second. Like I said, they've spent a lot of money. They've got L'Jarius Sneed right now. They got a Woozy. They have a Woozy in the defensive backfield as well. They have shored up. The T'Vondre Sweat pick was sort of a gamble. If you look at their draft picks and what they did, people really didn't like their picks, but it's sort of like all or nothing with these guys. Like, they got a big-ass offensive lineman that some people are like, well, maybe he's not as good as the other guys. Well, he's a freaking monster of a man. T'Vondre Sweat, another guy who's sort of like that kid from Georgia that ended up on the Eagles. T'Vondre Sweat draft stock was a lot higher, and he's an idiot, and he had bad timing to get caught drunk driving right before the combine. He basically got drunk. He got busted like right kind of near before the combine. And people are like, well, horrible judgment, biggest stuff of your life coming up. And I think the Titans are like good. You know what I mean? Considering what NFL players do, I would be like, whatever. The kid got it out of his system now. Don't do it again. And we got a bargain here with the 42nd pick in the draft. That's the way I look at it with T'Vondre Sweat. And he's a monster on the line, this kid. So he's just one of those big plumber type of nose tackle type of players that can really cause havoc and help you win football games. So 6.5, like I said earlier, always looking for sort of the lower numbers that, the teams, they could even have a losing record and you still win your bet. I like teams like this. So the Tennessee Titans at 6.5. I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 7.5. Looking at the Buccaneers division that they play in, you get the Panthers twice a year. You get the Saints twice a year. 2 terrible football teams. The Buccaneers have talent, and they're a very capable team. They just won the division last year. I know everyone loves Atlanta, but as I said earlier, Tampa don't even have to win the damn division to win this bet, to go over 7.5 wins. So I like the Tennessee Titans 6.5. I like Tampa 6.5. I like the Minnesota Vikings over 6.5, and I do agree with the team you threw out there earlier, Babano, in the Los Angeles Chargers. I think Harbaugh, the difference, the confidence, the competence, that is the best word. Just there's a competent staff in here right now. They're going to win 9-10 football games, right? Like I said, they'll be battling with the Browns and these teams of the league. You know what I mean? They'll be battling for a playoff spot. Hell, they're in the same tier as the Bills, maybe even. But I think, they're a 10-win team. Everything falls into place. Maybe 11 wins for the Chargers this year. All right, so we'll get into we'll get some golf picks on the other side, and we'll get Babano CFL best bets, and I've got a bunch of best bets from the Euro to the Copa and everything else in between. The Washington Commanders win total 6.5, another low number. I think this team is still a work in progress right now. Even though I think Jaden Daniels will be good, they don't really have a lot of talent around him. You've got a completely new coaching staff in here. I'm not in love with this Commanders team. I'm not saying that they can't get the 7, but I'm not betting it one way or the other. And I know, Babano, you believe that the Philadelphia Eagles are a can't miss to win the NFC East.
Yeah, I actually don't mind maybe a Commanders over win total. I don't love it, but I just think, a huge discount, a new staff. You got Jaden Daniels. I mean, the quarterback play last year was not very good. But the team I really like in that division is Philadelphia to win it. I mean, it's probably going to be them or Dallas. I don't think it'll be the Giants or the Commanders. And to me, I just trust Philly a lot more than Dallas. I think it's a much better situation. I think it's a much cleanser. Everything's been cleansed. You bring in 2 great coordinators. You bring in Fangio on defense, Kellen Moore on offense. I think it's going to be a much more harmonious coaching staff with the players. Jalen Hurts, I think, will play better. That defense will play better. Fangio, not a great head coach, but a very good DC. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles will win that division. I just trust them way more than the Dallas Cowboys.
I cannot disagree. This is Sports Rage.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
After Atlanta won the draft lottery, that I was taking Ricochet number 1. When he was at plus 425, I said Ricochet's going number 1. Well, hot damn. Who's the big minus money favorite to go number 1 in the draft? Zachary Ricochet. Hopefully you had jumped on this earlier enough because the trains left the station.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score in the stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I'm Morency. We're kicking it on the Wicked Wednesday, 4th of July on the East Coast right now. So shout out to everybody on the East Coast. Happy 4th of July. We got a bunch of games coming up. Soccer will take center stage once again with the Euros on Friday. But we've got golf in the morning. Cam Stewart in the house with us. Babano, I don't know if you've got some golf picks from your golf guy, your insider this week.
Yes.
I've only got two picks. I like the top of the board here with Sung Jae Im. I'm getting 16-1. I know it's not 16-1 everywhere. It's like I see 14-1 for the most part, but we're getting 16-1 with Sung Jae. And Seamus Power at 50-1. Really like Seamus Power to be top 20 as well. Sung Jae Im, unbelievable, but the last 4 non-major events, he's been top 10. Seamus Power has been another one in these non-major events that's always lingering. And in fact, I think Seamus Power, he's a guy that I've seen in the past that does start off hot at times. So Seamus Power, first-round leader, I think could be worth a shot in the dark. Babano, what do you got for us from your golf guy?
Two golfers you mentioned are in my list, and my golf guy recommended them. So how about that for the John Deere Classic? And one of them is Sung Jae Im, the biggest favorite that my golf guy recommended at 20-1. My golf guy is going to go to breakfast at Denny's. Denny McCarthy, 22-1. Nick Dunlap, 40-1. Bo Hostler, 60. Seamus Power, 50. Ryo Hisatsuni, 80-1. Patton Kazire, 90-1. Joel Damon, 100-1. Chandler Phillips, 120-1. And a bigger bomb, it's an old friend, Troy Merritt, 150-1. Loves him some Troy Merritt.
Our boy Ghoster in the chat, going for four straight first-round leader bets. All right, let's rock. Ghoster's got Mitchell, Poston, Stevens, Hostler, Hubbard, Ben Griffin, Michael Kim, and Dylan Wu. All 45-1 to higher, says Mr. Ghoster, who's a very sharp golf handicapper. Cam, what do you got for the John Deere?
Well, he likes the Wu-Tang Clan, Gabe. Let's go. We're on a couple of the same guys. I'm going to go with Babano's buddy. Wait a minute, Mr. Poston. JT Poston, we're going to start at 35. Love your M pick. We'll get to him in a second. We like Cole, Eric Cole, at 45-1, starting to play really good golf. And watch out, he's been on leaderboards everywhere. Gabe, I got Power as well. I think Seamus Power just sets up really nicely at this course this week at 50-1. Babano, you're on my guy. Japanese Hizatoni time at 65-1. I like Shipley, the big kid. Neil Shipley at 70-1. Watch out for him. He's the upcoming star in golf. And going with an old friend, Moores, you idiot. No, it's Ryan Moore at 150-1. He's almost on the senior tour now, but he loves this tournament. Gabe talked about Sung Jae Im. All he does is finish top 10 in non-major events. He's plus 170 for a top 10, so give me Sung Jae Im there. Sepp Straka, defending champion. He's over 2-1 at plus 220 for a top 10. Watch out for Denny McCarthy. I got him too, Babano. Plus money for a top 20. You got to love it at plus 130. And Maverick McNeely, he fits the bill this week at plus 145. Top 40s. Novak, not Djokovic. Andrew Novak at plus 120. And Old Man Johnson, Zach Johnson, plus 180. Gabe, you're going to like this one too. Keith Mitchell, 45. Seamus Power, 55-1 first-round leader. Let's do this together. 20 spot gets you over $1,000. That'd be a great way to spend the 4th of July. Cole, 55. Mr. Thursday, Patrick Rogers. Novak, 85. And let's go lower with Justin Lauer at 110-1. Enjoy the golf, everybody.
Always great to hit the first-round leaders. Always great odds for a first-round leader, and you don't have to wait 4 rounds of golf. You'll get paid at the end of the day. So CFL, we're going into week 5. Looking at the CBS Sports Network schedule this week. 2 of the 4 games are on. Calgary at Montreal on Saturday. BC at Hamilton on Sunday. We've got a football game on Thursday night. The Toronto Argonauts are now up to 4.5-point favorites. Rough Rider quarterback Trevor Harris is out. Former Ole Miss and Michigan Wolverine standout Shea Patterson takes over. Remember before, it was in the last couple of years, it was Mason Fine, the kid from North Texas, was the backup quarterback in Saskatchewan. And he would be okay, you know what I mean, at times, but, you know, he would throw an interception, he'd throw a touchdown pass, and they wanted an upgrade. They battled it out. They decided to go with Shea Patterson. Now he gets his opportunity. It changes the dynamic of the offense a little bit, but I think it's an overreaction with the point spread up to 4.5 points. laying 4.5 points with an undefeated Rough Rider team of Battle, who incidentally, their head coach is a former coordinator of the Argos. So he's going to know a lot about their tendencies and a lot about their players. I like the Riders plus the points. And in fact, I'm going to call a money line win, plus 180. Rough Riders on the money line, Babano. Who do you like?
I'm on the other side, and I'm a Ticat fan liking the Argos. I can't believe I'm saying that here. And I jumped on this early in the week. Now, I will say this. I mean, 4.5, I think I'd be careful now. It's gone up there a little bit with where the number is now. But I've got to see it from Shea Patterson. I flat out don't really trust him yet. I don't think he was that good when he came in for Harris. Now, the bye week and the practice should help, but very inaccurate. Thought he forced a couple footballs that easily could have been picked off. I think if he wasn't running with the football, he wasn't really moving the offense in that game against the Ticats. I'm going to have to see a lot more from him. It's his first big-time opportunity. And Toronto's D-line is no joke. They are very good up front. They can get pressure. I could see them forcing him into some mistakes. And you got the Argos off a loss against Montreal. No shame in that. The Alouettes are the class of the CFL. I expect a strong bounce-back effort from Toronto and them to get the win. I laid 2.5. I don't know if I'd lay 4.5. I don't like that number as much, but I like Toronto to win.
All right, Babano says he likes the Argos. I'll disagree with this. Shea Patterson, he won't feel any pressure playing in this game. The guy's played against Ohio State, right? The guy's played against Alabama. He's played in the SEC. He's played in the Big Ten. Well, but as you stated, at the pro level, he's never really gotten the opportunity before. So this is it. All right, he's got a chance to start right now, and we'll see what he's able to do. But I think he can do enough here at home.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
After Atlanta won the draft lottery, that I was taking Ricochet number 1. When he was at plus 425, I said Ricochet's going number 1. Well, hot damn. Who's the big minus money favorite to go number 1 in the draft? Zachary Ricochet. Hopefully you had jumped on this earlier enough because the trains left the station.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score into stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with 5 minutes to go?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. So as we stated, we're not going to be on tomorrow night. We'll be back. I'm going to be on with Pharrell on Friday afternoon just for our daily hit. Scott's off tomorrow, 4th of July, obviously. But the night programming, not our choice, the night programming shutting down for the next 2 nights. So enjoy yourself. Follow me on Twitter at SportsRage. But as far as the soccer is concerned, listen, I'll tell you what. tomorrow night. So the Copa is back. I sort of went through soccer withdrawals. Ecuador have been really dangerous, all right? And Argentina are obviously the class of this tournament. They're the defending World Cup champions. They're the favorites to win the Copa. But the Ecuadorians have been very, very competitive and explosive. They're they're a dangerous team. And Argentina are kind of an older team. It's a little pricey. It's minus 180 right now to get Ecuador at plus 1.5 goals. But parlay material, I'm just telling people, warning people, it's not like, oh, yeah, Argentina are going to roll because they have Messi and they're popular and people like them. Ecuador can play, all right? And you see these games are very competitive in the Copa. So I think it's going to be a closer game than people think. Canada and Venezuela on Friday night is basically a pick-em. It's kind of a toss-up, although the numbers moved a bit now with Buchanan's injury. Venezuela are now plus 155. Before it was plus 170 both sides. So Canada up to plus 200. And here's another one that it's going to go under the 2.5. Canada do not surrender goals. They've given up 2 goals in 3 games, and that was to Argentina. And Venezuela are going to have a hard time scoring. Canada have a hard time scoring. Love the under in this game. And I think Canada are going to find a way to advance. Right? Defense wins championships, as they say, and Canada has figured it out. If we don't let the other team score, good things will happen. Both teams to score, no, is minus 130. I like that. I also like the under 2.5. Euro soccer, let's get to the big-time stuff here. Spain and Germany is going to be freaking epic. I think that Spain will qualify. All right? It wouldn't surprise me if this game went to extra time. Spain to qualify is minus 125. So Spain to qualify, minus 125. I already got Spain to win the tournament, but I do think they're going to advance. I like the under 2.5 in Spain and Germany. And if there was one bet, actually, that I would say, you know what? If somebody asked me what's the one play that you would hammer the most, I will say that France and Portugal under 2.5. This is going to be a stalemate. Portugal are stout defensively. They're offensively challenged, as we see where Ronaldo up front. And as great as France is, they haven't scored. They've scored one. They haven't scored a regular goal. They've scored 1 goal, and it was a penalty.
Who's this Mbappe guy they keep talking about? Has he done anything?
Well, he broke his nose. He played in the first game of Bano, and he missed a breakaway. It's a fair question. He missed a breakaway. He missed another really shot that he would never miss. And then he broke his nose. So then he missed the next game, and he's come back. But no, for a guy that makes like $100 million a year, but I don't know. He has not scored, if you want to call him out.
Yeah, I am.
Yep.
And Griezmann, he's missed a million chances, that guy. And
You're not wrong. Griezmann has missed a million chances.
I cut him some slack. He's old. That game, I like that under 2 there, Morency. That's I like where you're going with that. Hey, Slovenia played a 0-0 draw. They could have beat Portugal in that game, and they go to penalty kicks. So, yeah, I'm down with that.
I would say, guys, with Canada, take the safer approach. Bet them to qualify instead of, the full time. So that if they win extra time,
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Canada to qualify, even money.
Yeah, you know what though, you do it's sort of like betting on like football or something. If you're betting on the underdog, you split it, little money line and a little to qualify as well, because you're getting that nice plus 200, and they could win 1-0 in 90 minutes. Right. Like that's the plan. Good approach. If you're Canada, that's what the game plan is, right? Like they did against Peru. Let's lock the other team down and try to bury one of our chances. Because look, it's like you're a big hockey guy, man. It's like you see in hockey a team will be dominating, but the puck's just not going in. That's France. Like they're doing everything. The ball's just not going in. They're just sort of in this weird thing, but they're still winning, right? I don't think that game with Portugal goes to extra time. I think France will win in regulation at plus 135. So follow me on Twitter at SportsRage. I'll have a bunch of picks over the next couple of days, and keep it locked in here on the grid. Babana, we'll see you online, Cam. We'll see you online. Happy 4th of July to everybody. May the winners be yours. Other than that, you're on your own later.